Welcome back to How to Use App Inventor 2. This is part 2, and today we're going to be looking at 5 different components from the user interface and also the properties over here. So probably the most used component in App Inventor is the button. It can be hooked up to all sorts of different things and have a lot of different functions. First of all, how you get all these components over here to your designer is you just drag it. You pretty much just drag it where you want it within this vertical, but you want button 2 right beside button 1. So what you do is you come down here to layout and you get this horizontal arrangement and you drag it over. Then just drag first button, then the second one. Okay, and that's how you get it horizontal. Let's say you want like a bunch of different buttons and stuff. You could use a table for that. You don't really need a vertical because that's pretty much how it's already set up. So it says text for button 1, but on your app you don't want it to say text for button 1. So what you do is come over here to text, and we're on button 2 right now. Over here at components it shows everything on your screen. And if it's highlighted, that's what we're on. So right now we're on button 2 instead of button 1. So then you come down here to text, and you can put just about anything you want in it. Okay, I changed it to say my text. Let's say you have a bunch of different buttons, and when you go over to the blocks editor, which is over here, it'll get really confusing because how do you know which button is which? It says button 2 over here, but here it says something different. So you're going to get really confused about which button you want to do what. So what you do is you come down here to rename, and then you can name it the exact same thing that you have up here. Okay, now it says my text up here. So a button is exactly what it sounds like it is. When the user presses it, it's going to start an action that does something. You can do all sorts of different things as far as the look of it goes. You can change the font size and italic, bold, the color of the font text, and you can change the height and width of the button. Say this is too small for my liking. I'm going to make it 200 pixels tall by 200 pixels wide. As long as it fits on the screen, you can pretty much make it whatever size you want it to be. Down here, you change the text color. Up here, you can change the color of the button itself. And you can also change the shape of the button. Come down here, you can make it, it's not going to be much of a difference now that it's huge blown up, but you can make the shape of the button different. Okay, so the next thing is a checkbox, and you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm not going to use a checkbox for anything that I want to do. But you can hook it up to a lot of different things. Like, rarely in an app will there only be one component by itself. So in the blocks editor, you could hook up this checkbox to a button. You could hook it up to a text box or a label or a picture. Whether it's checked or not, you can do pretty much whatever with a checkbox. You can ask a question, and then if the answer is yes, they can check it, and then it can lead to something else in the app being different. It's pretty much the same stuff over here on the right. The next thing is an image. So again, you can change how big it is. You can have it rotated if you want to, however much, and you can also again hook it up to a button or a checkbox or pretty much anything that when it's checked or clicked, it can rotate the picture. You click here to put in the picture that you went inside of here. The next thing is a label. This is pretty much a description of what's going to be following underneath it. So if I wanted to, I could probably put text box and then it's a label. Then I know down here that there's a text box. You can change what it says with the height, the color of it. Okay, and down here is the text box itself. And you can create a hint for the text box. And what this means is you're not going to see it on App Inventor itself, but once the app is made, say you want someone to put their name in the text box, you just put in name, and then they'll see it and they'll know to put their name in here, because right in here it will say name. When they click in, it won't say name anymore, so they won't have to erase it. It's just before, so they know what's supposed to go in it. And that's about it for today. Part 3 is going to be about some different components, so then we're going to start in the blocks editor. Thanks for watching.